Greetings, my movie geeks. Name's Bond. James Bond. And it's finally time. On the 30th, No Time to Die will finally be released. Only a year too late. But before we can watch and discuss about No Time to Die, we need to go back to 2006 and Daniel Craig's first outing as 007 James Bond. After the abysmal Die Another Day, James Bond was in a bit of a bind. The Bond movies had reformed the spy genre into a slick and grounded premise that Die Another Day wasn't. We've all seen it. It's the pinnacle of the Bond formula, joined with the fact that it would be released during the 40th anniversary of the films. It threw everything at the wall, including an invisible car, Bond being captured, and facial reconstruction that can turn a Korean man into a Caucasian man. The theme was outlandish, and I would argue that Brosnan was due to hand in his wealth of PPK. But the budget was $142 million, and the box office came in at a comfortable $431.9 million. So it did get bums in seats. I'd also argue it wasn't that bad, and you can check out my In Defense Of right here. But compared to the Bourne movies, it was a little too over the top. So they had to overhaul it. Jumped to 2006 and Bond had been recast with an actor that many didn't think embodied Bond at all, and a more grounded and gritty film that reignited and changed what Bond was. It was more like James Blonde, eh? One of the reasons why Eon Productions had never made Casino Royale before was because Sony had the rights to it. Up until 1999, when Sony Pictures Entertainment exchanged them for Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's rights to Spider-Man. An adaptation of Ian Fleming's first book to include James Bond, it charts him becoming a 00 and finding clues that point him into a gambling tournament run by Le Chiffre. The goal is to bankrupt Le Chiffre, who is playing with money that isn't his own, so that he will seek asylum from the British government in exchange for info on his clients. The film doesn't let up for a moment. Even in the quiet moments, it pushes the story along smooth pace. There aren't any moments where you become bored or aware that you're watching a film. From a story point of view, it flows perfectly. We get a great opening showing how Bond becomes a 00. This opening is possibly my favourite Bond opening sequence ever. And let's face it, there are a lot to choose from, and they are very, very good. Filmed in crisp black and white, it's clear that we're seeing a flashback. Bond waits for Dryden, the section chief, who has been selling secrets on the side. But it's also showing us how Bond kills the contact. It's played in a calm way. Bond is just sitting in the dark waiting for Dryden to turn up. But then we get a flashback in a flashback, and we see the more brutal killing of the contact. It's intense, it's hard, it packs a punch. It's even filmed in a way that gives it a more worn out monochrome look, showing that it was a little bit further in the past. This Bond, looking at the opening and compared to other Bonds, is completely different. He's a brawler, he isn't scared of getting hurt, he acts as though he hasn't got anything to live for. If he dies, then he dies, but he makes sure he doesn't. This opening reintroduces us to Bond, but it's clear that he is a new Bond for a new century. Bonding with the characters. Fucking hell. This Bond is a complete reboot. It disregards everything that's gone before and takes it as year one. Casino Royale is basically what Batman Begins did for Batman. If we look at Bond's character in Casino Royale, we can see he is a completely different character to who he is in subsequent films. And if we disregard the characterization holes from each of Daniel Craig's movies, Casino Royale has had the biggest impact on Bond's character than any other film. Bond smiles more in Casino Royale than any of his following films. He is basically a lone wolf who can infiltrate guys' lairs, as well as infiltrate his own boss's home. He is tech savvy, able to follow his own clues without any help from other departments, and that's including the Q branch, who only get a minor nod in this film. But enough about Bond, let's look at the other main characters. Vesper Lynd, the woman who steals Bond's heart and turns him into an emotionless rock. He opens up to her, and as this is the first story, it makes us understand why Bond is who he is in previous movies. He sleeps around because he doesn't trust anyone. He won't fall in love because when he does, he gets betrayed. It's bleak, but great character development. Le Chiffre, played by the excellent Mads Mikkelsen, is the best Bond villain in Craig's era, and possibly one of the best Bond villains ever. He is a sinister villain who has the Bond gimmick, facial deformity. Here, though, he cries blood, explained as a damaged vessel near his eye that makes him weep blood. The fact that they use it sparingly shows great restraint and makes for a really good look. He's a banker who is gambling with his associates' money, and he gambles, and it works, and it shows exactly how calculating this character is. The addition of Bond means Le Chiffre gets more and more worked up. Every step he takes, Bond takes 2 steps back. There are killers coming for him because he lost their money, and Bond is forcing him to make mistakes. If we didn't know Le Chiffre was the villain, you'd actually feel sorry for him because he becomes more and more stressed as the film goes on, culminating in the last act of desperation, torturing Bond, which moves us on to our next point. The torture scene is something that is an essential moment in Bond movies. The scene in Goldfinger, the torture chair in The World Is Not Enough, and Crocodile Farm in Live and Let Die. These are all scenes that are iconic and have been homaged or aped by other movies. Look at Austin Powers. But Casino Royale has something else, something that made every man in the cinema wince. There were no fancy technological lasers, no wild sharp-toothed animals, just a chair with a hole in it and a naked Bond and a large knotted rope. Simple to the point of believable, and it becomes effective. If it was me, though, I think I'd have given up a number of secrets when I saw the chair.
You know, I never understood all these elaborate tortures.
This, along with Vesper, works perfectly to strip Bond to nothing. He is literally stripped and tortured. Hearing and believing Vesper is being tortured in the other room, it is only by chance that Mr. White comes to the rescue. Everything from the torture scene to Vesper's death forces Bond to become the cold, calculating killer who doesn't trust anyone, who he becomes. What I enjoy about this film as well is Bond fails. Le Chiffre dies, so he's not anyone. The money is lost, and he loses Vesper. The only saving grace is Vesper sends Bond a message to detail who her contact was, Mr. White. And I do believe you need to watch Quantum of Solace straight after this, as it is basically a direct follow-on, and feel that they should be viewed together. Casino Royale is a great starting point for Bond. It shows where he comes from and why he becomes who he will become. The story is superb and doesn't slow down for 1 minute. Stripping back all of the tropes of the Bond franchise was a stroke of genius that works in its favour. And ending with the iconic James Bond moment is excellent. It's just a cherry on top. I love this film. I find Daniel Craig to be a brilliant Bond. But let me know what you think. Does he live up to the previous actors? Is he your least favourite or favourite Bond? Have you got tickets to see No Time to Die? I want to know. I have. I'm Nate, the Ultimate Movie Geek. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified every time we upload a video. Thank you for watching, and get ready, the 1st of October is coming. Halloween Countdown is on its way. See you later.
The name's Bond. James Bond.